And we are now live, and I'm going to share my desktop, and it's going to go crazy Inception-wise. Let's get rid of that. So, blank Audacity window. There's two things. For the most part in these assignments, you're going to be importing audio files that you want to work with. So they may be ones that you find elsewhere on the internet. They may be some background music. But one of the first things you can do is you can actually, and you probably do this for some of your narration, is to record yourself. And so one of the first things to do, it's really important, and the audio people know that, to get the right volume. So you don't want the inputs so low that they're hard to hear. And if the microphone inputs are way high, it'll be distorted. So at the top of the window, there's a thing that says click to start monitoring. And this little green bar is giving me some measure of my sound levels. And so if I slide this to the left, you might notice they're not going as far. Oh, it looks like it's automatically adjusting. Maybe Audacity does that. So more or less when I'm talking, you want the bars to be pushing pretty far to the right without turning red. It's a new version of Audacity, and so maybe it automatically adjusts levels. So recording is as easy as pressing the button. And as you can see, I am recording now, and I'm just talking to myself. So can someone talk back to me in the room?
Hi.
I'm talking back to you in the room.
Wow, you guys are good. So I will stop the recording. And this is a representation of the sound. So when you want to listen to what was played, it starts playing where the cursor is. So I'm going to click at the beginning. And as you can see, I am recording now. And I'm just talking to myself. So can someone talk back to me in the room? So you can also just, if I wanted to, if I just highlight that segment and I press the space bar. I'm talking back in the room. And you can see that your sounds are a little bit louder than mine, and there are ways you can adjust it. I have dead space in the beginning, so I can just select it. I can delete it. I can delete some of this dead space here. And the thing about audio is, in a way, it's like when you're editing text, you can copy and paste it. So I'm going to take, and as you can see, I am recording now. So I'm going to take this, I'm recording now, and I'm going to do something really stupidly ridiculous. So I'm going to cut out this last little bit. I like the laugh there. And I'm going to paste. I'm just going to do Control V. I'm going to do it a couple times to be totally ridiculous. So you can move bits of audio around like text. And so I get, I am recording now. I am recording now. I am recording now. And I'm pretty annoying. If I want to, that segment's a little bit low. We can go to amplify, and it will boost that sound. So sometimes if you have just one low segment, I am recording now. I am recording now. I am recording now. That's like terrible. You can also select a segment, and there's all kinds of audio effects. So I can change my pitch, and so I can make myself sound ridiculous. I am recording now. I am recording now. So if you want to do chipmunks and play around with special effects. But just from a basic level is I can take any segment. So can someone talk back to me in the room? I can take that and I can put it in the beginning. And you move around and you manipulate sound just like you do words. The thing that's useful about Audacity is that we can import other things that have come in their own layer. So I'm going to go under File, Import, Audio, and let's see if I have some sound here. I was just doing my demo. So this music, this second track came in. It's got a different shape. If I want to listen to it, I might just mute my first track. And I got some groovy game music. And so if I want, I can have them overlap. and I can do this. Now that's pretty crappy because I can't even hear the voices. If you want to, you can drop the whole volume by this gain level here, and you can see if that makes a difference.
So can someone talk back to me in the room?
So that's one way to adjust the sound level. That's across the whole track. What is more effective is this thing called an envelope tool. And what that does is I can say, like, I want the beginning to be really low, and then I put a little point here, and I make it get louder, and then maybe somewhere out here I do a couple more control points, and I can fade it out again. And that's controlling the volume of that little music track. The other thing that we can do is this time shift tool, where I can take everything here, and I can shift it over and away. I don't know why this first one didn't come with me. So now I've got music in the beginning, and groovy music. It's kind of loud. Pretty exciting, eh?
So can someone talk back to me in the room? And as you can see, I am.
So by dropping the volume, I just have that music play loud when there's no voice talking, and then I can drop it down later on, and I could scoop it back. We do this a lot when we're editing. I might just do one more audio file to bring in here. Let's see, what should I bring in? I'm going to bring in the crying baby. And so I have this new track down. Where's my crying baby? So this is a longer track. Pretty exciting. Sometimes we just want to segment. So I'm going to take just that little segment here, and I'm going to just spacebar it. I like the laughing baby. This is this little neat tool that will take everything but what I have selected, because I really just want that little clip. And then I'm going to move that over towards the beginning, maybe with the sound. So now I'm starting to stack up sounds. Of course, this is total just me making stuff up on the fly. But this is what you do over and again in Audacity. One thing that happens is you end up getting a stack of these tracks. You can, when things get really complicated, if you select a track, you can sort of squeeze them up to make more room so you can see the other tracks. And you'll find, in the first assignment, you might have 10 of these tracks. So I'll just show as an example. So this is one I did for my demo for the assignment that I'm going to give you. So I've got, actually have that music track, and I have a lot of sound effects. And this first assignment that we're going to do, just to get some practice with doing these editing tools, it's called the sound effects story. So how can you create a short story just by using sounds in a sequence with maybe some underlying music? And so I provide, there's lots of places you can get sound files. I use this one called Free Sound. And so the idea is to come up with an idea for something that you could tell a story about, either games or life as a game, or just something maybe related to what we're talking about. And the hard part is figuring out, what am I going to tell a story about, right? So I always find, where's my sheet? So the demo that I gave you, actually, my story is about, the game of life. And so I just wrote down what I thought would be the sequence I wanted sounds, and that would give me a clue as to where I would look for some of these sound files to download. And so ideally, you'll end up with, maybe about 5 to 10 different sounds, maybe some kind of music backtrack, and maybe one sound that maybe you make by like knocking on a table, like someone's at the door. Make like a sound effect that you can record. If you want to, I say it can't be your voice, but if you want to sort of make like if my story's about like someone creepy coming in the door, I might make like a, and that's like the door opening. That wasn't very good. But there's a whole thing that I'm not going to go into in terms of movie making called Foley, which is where sounds are manufactured in movies. It's kind of a crazy thing to watch people do. But a lot of times when you are watching a movie, a lot of the things going on, like in the fight scenes, those are not the real sounds of fists hitting each other. They're like these weird sound engineers in a room, like throwing things at pillows and whatnot. So a lot of sound is manufactured. The thing that I'm asking you to produce, I have a demo, and it's going to be something that comes out. Let me screen share again. I totally forgot what I was doing here. And, just very quickly, I will screen share one more time. This time, just the application. So this is one of these things, again, in the Make Bank. And so this has some of the instructions for what I'm asking you to do. This is really just to get some practice with doing editing, especially if it's your first time. I use, there's my paper of my story, and I will give you a little bit of a rundown of sort of how I thought about doing this. What I'd like you to do as you are like finding sounds that you can use. I gave you a link to Freesound, which is my favorite, but there's tons of places you can find sounds. Keep track of where you found your sounds so you can give them credit. And also for this assignment, when you write it up in your blog, I like to see a screenshot of your Audacity editing session so I can sort of see that you did a full track thing. I'm asking you to upload your sounds. There's a site called SoundCloud, which I call it like a YouTube for sound. It sort of enables you, your blog sites usually don't allow you to upload audio. So like YouTube, we have to put them somewhere else so you can play. The great thing about SoundCloud is when you put it into WordPress, like YouTube videos, it can automatically embed the player. If you're using Blogger, you can copy the embed code, or you can just link. So this is the demo story that I made. Same music. It's supposed to be people partying. Getting married. People at work. That's what work sounds like. Getting towards the end of life here. And then you get to play over life again. Very silly, okay? That's what I came up with over breakfast. This is really just to have you get some experience with doing some audio editing, doing the importing, putting some things together, and playing around with Audacity. And there's more explanation on the course site and in the Make Bank for how to do this. What I want to do with whatever time is left is, if you want to, you can do some practicing of maybe just doing some recording of your own, or maybe importing some sounds. into Audacity, trying to figure out how some of these tools work. I know that was really fast. And there is there's an older demo that I have in this week's announcement that kind of walks you through a screen share where I show you some of the things that I just went through with kind of what I consider the sort of basics of what you want to do. So for those who have done this before, any tips or suggestions for getting started with this?
Just kind of don't get too frustrated because you can definitely do it. It's a different thing, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. It's totally doable, especially if you follow the instructions.
I would say have fun with it. If you're a perfectionist, that might suck at first because it does take like time to really fully master like video and audio editing. But don't worry about it because it's still gonna come out, fine. And even may not be the perfect thing you want, it'll still be good. It just takes experience.
And please use headphones because the volume levels can be all over the place and you don't realize that until you put it on.
Yeah, definitely for the first one, keep it basic. 5 sounds is perfect. It doesn't have to be anything brilliant, but try to see what you can suggest in terms of imagining if you could present some situation that can happen and reach some kind of climax or terrible event and then a recovery just through it could be game sounds. What stories can you tell with game sounds? That's what I was looking for. The site I suggest is called Freesound. They have like thousands and thousands, and so I just searched on things like baby crying, and party, and then you can find these different sound samples that you can download and then import into Audacity. All right. Ooh. Again, sorry, I really wanted to do they could see the demo, but it's probably better if you try it. And I will stop recording. So this will be added to the site if you really want to watch me do that terrible thing I produced.